Now that the U.S. government has shut down for the foreseeable future, the way of life for thousands of federal workers living here in Georgia is being flipped on its head. Yesterday, the Georgia Department of Labor put out a statement ahead of the midnight deadline saying, "We are here to support you and will share essential information should a shutdown occur." With lives on hold, families holding their collective breath here, groups around Metro Atlanta are now opening up to support federal workers caught in the crossfire here of uncertainty. One of those groups is Must Ministries, and with us today is its president and CEO, Dr. Ike Reighard. Thank you so much for the time.
I'm honored to be with you today, Cheryl. Thank you for the opportunity.
We know it's a tough day for more than 110,000 federal workers just here in Georgia alone. When you hear about families suddenly losing that paycheck overnight, what goes through your mind as a leader of a group built to serve people in crisis?
Well, it immediately puts us on notice that the services that we provide are going to become even more essential than they normally are. And so we're always standing by ready to be able to help people with, particularly in the area of food and shelter. Because if this becomes something that's extended, becomes something that becomes much deeper, then obviously the implications grow stronger for those people that are not having a paycheck and being able to buy the things they need.
And we've talked a lot about the economy. It's a tough time for so many families when the paycheck is consistent and it is coming in. So the tangibles are one thing, the food and shelter like you talked about, but how much of the conversation is also about trying to keep hope alive for families in such a time that they really have no control over the outcome?
Right, and I think any time that you get into situations that are unexpected, it causes unaccustomed emotions that people go through. And the biggest one is fear. How am I going to be able to take care of my family? And that's why we have multiple ways that we can do that through our feeding programs in particular, because we give away on average 3.5 to 4 tons of food each and every day. And so we get our food from people like the Atlanta Community Food Bank. Mm-hmm. When these things begin to happen, it affects your supply chain, especially if it's prolonged. And so we're there to be able to let people know that we have food, that we're ready to be able to assist in any way that we can, and we're honored to be able to do that.
You bring up a really important point, because when you're talking about that 4 tons of food just from your organization, that is kind of on a normal basis. And now we have another layer of need that happened literally at midnight. How does a moment like this test the very mission of what you and other organizations are doing?
Well, you're making preparations in advance to be ready for a situation like this. And we've known that the possibility existed. We've been through experiences like this before. And right now, it's not impacting us, for instance, on the government grants that we have each month that total over $200,000 that help us to be able to provide permanent supportive housing, emergency housing. We have veterans housing. And right now, those funds are not at risk. But normally we're in a situation where we get reimbursed. So we're already putting the money out there, and then the government reimburses us. So I think anytime you have a situation like that, it just bears watching, and you try to put yourself in a good financial position that when you're needed more, you're able to step up and to be there.
So what would your message be for families who are not impacted by this shutdown, for corporations, for those who maybe are watching, may want to help? What's the most impactful way the community steps in alongside you and everyone, all of our neighbors in need right now?
Well, obviously giving to organizations, not just Must, but organizations like Must that are there to be able to step in. With inflation being at an all-time high, the things that we're experiencing, the cost of food and the others, when we can come along and be a supplement to those families, to be able to help to get them through the pantries that we have embedded inside of schools, along with our Must Mobile where we go out, 3 standalone pantries, we're in a good position to be able to help people for an extended period of time. And so we're honored to be in that position.
Because we know the need is just growing as we speak, even when you look at this year compared to last, correct?
Yeah, every year it seems like it's gotten more difficult because, again, the price of food. Even going out for fast food today, I mean, it stretches you because all of a sudden things are so much more expensive. And then when you're not getting a paycheck, I even understand that for the essential employees, they have to go in, but they don't get paid. I mean, that's tough. So they're still having to spend money to buy gas, do all the other things. And so we have a lot of those people in Cobb County and metropolitan Atlanta that we're here to serve. And so when we have that privilege to step up and serve, we want to be there.
Thank you for the work that you're doing every day. We appreciate it. And thanks for your time.